My parents arranged my marriage to a quiet woman from the village, but one night, I followed her down a hallway that didn't exist in our house. I'm not one to believe in ghosts, but after what happened in that house, in that marriage, I no longer trust even the walls I live in. My name is Raj. I'm 27 and only son, born and raised in London. My parents, immigrants from a conservative Indian village, had always promised I'd marry a good girl from back home. When I protested, they guilt-tripped me, said my grandfather's dying wish was to see me married into the Devkar family. That's how I met Mira. Mira was beautiful, but quiet. Too quiet. She barely spoke above a whisper. She always looked over her shoulder, even when we were alone. I thought she was just shy, or traumatized. I wanted to be patient, but something about her silence felt calculated. We married in a temple under the full moon. She didn't even cry. Not once. After the wedding, I brought her back to my flat in the countryside, something I inherited from my uncle. An old, 3-story colonial house with creaky floors and endless corridors. Mira seemed strangely comfortable there. Almost too comfortable. Like she'd been there before. That was the first red flag. At first, I chalked her behavior up to culture shock. She'd never used a microwave. Didn't want to use a phone. Would wake up at exactly 3:17 a.m. every single night and stand at the window humming something low and eerie. When I asked her why, she'd say, "That's when they watch." I laughed. Nervously. "Who?" She would just turn and stare with those glassy eyes. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." A few weeks in, I noticed something else. She always avoided one hallway on the second floor. I hadn't even explored that part of the house yet. One night, I followed her as she walked past it. But she stopped. Mid-step. Without turning, she whispered, "Don't go down there." I said, "Why?" She didn't move for a full minute. Then said, "Because I locked it for a reason." But I hadn't locked any room in the house. That night, when she was asleep, I went back. The hallway looked normal. Old portraits, cracked wallpaper. But at the very end was a black door with no handle. Just a keyhole. I never saw that door before. It wasn't there when I moved in. A week later, I was doing laundry when I noticed Mira's old suitcase tucked under the bed. She had never unpacked it. Curious, I opened it. Inside were old, torn photographs. Not of her, but of other men. All of them had one thing in common. Each of them had scratched out eyes. In the bottom corner of one photo was scrawled, "They never listen until it's too late." That night I didn't sleep. Driven by fear and curiosity, I searched that strange hallway again the next day. I tapped the walls, checking for hollow spots. Behind an old portrait of a woman with a burned face, I found a compartment. Inside, a key. That night, I waited until Mira was asleep, then unlocked the black door. What I saw chilled me to the bone. The room was covered in faded prayer scrolls, bones arranged in strange patterns, and journals. Her journals. Inside, she detailed every man she had been married to, through arranged marriage. Each entry ended with a sentence. "They opened the door. So I had to close it." And then I heard a voice behind me. "You weren't supposed to see this." Mira stood at the door, face half lit by candlelight. Almost relieved. She told me everything. She had been forced into 7 arranged marriages before me. Each husband tried to control her, use her, or uncover her secrets. The family who arranged our marriage? They were in on it. She was cursed. Or maybe she was the curse. When I was 9, something came to me in the forest. It made a deal with me. If I let it in, it would protect me forever. So I did. Every time a husband crossed her boundaries, the house would take him. Into the walls or into the floor. Into that room. I was the first to be kind. Curious, but not cruel. Still, I opened the door. "Now it wants you, Raj." I ran. But the hallways twisted and turned. The doorways vanished. I ran downstairs that didn't end. I heard the chanting and her humming. 3:17 a.m. Then silence. Suddenly, I woke up in the woods. Disoriented. Barefoot. My hands scratched and bleeding. No phone. No Mira. No house behind me. Just trees. To this day, I don't know how I got out. Or what let me leave. I went back with the police a week later. The land was empty. No house. Just an overgrown foundation, rotted wood, and shattered stones. They told me my uncle's house had burned down in 1998. That no one had lived there for decades. I showed them our wedding photo. They zoomed in. Mira's face was blurry. Smudged. Like the image refused to capture her. I've never married again. Never tried to contact her. I don't even know if she was real. But every night, at exactly 3:17 a.m., my hallway lights flicker. And sometimes, I hear humming. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful story drop.